just wanted to chime in a little bit and talk about something that just happened and why it's so important. So I just got a phone call that I took from someone. I sit on a few boards, as I mentioned, requesting, asking if I was available in a couple of weeks to actually do a panel discussion, a speaking engagement. And for those of you who don't know, I do a lot of speaking engagements. I do a lot of workshops, a lot of trainings, and, do keynotes and things like that. And so I have been speaking for a very long time, almost my entire life. I started really competing in speech and debate when I was in high school. And I happened to go to Cardinal Mooney High School in Youngstown, Ohio, amazing speech team, and really gave me my core when it comes to being able to get up in front of a group of people and talk. And I always say that particular experience really shaped who I am. Because if I wasn't comfortable in public speaking, I would not be who I am. I mean, I do so much talking and teaching and training, which is my love. So it's instrumental. And I have the opportunity to do a lot of speaking and actually have grown my speaking catalog to the point over the last few years where I actually get paid to do most of my speaking engagements. And I say most because I still do for organizations that I'm on the boards of or that I participate with or that I work with. I oftentimes will do speaking engagements for them pro bono. But that means I still get ultimately a donation credit for my business. And that's really important. Even if you are doing a service that you would normally charge for free for a client or for a friend or for a cause that you believe in, it's really important for you to still take them through whatever your process is so that you can properly track it. And so for me, I had to create a speaking process because it became a product or service that I was offering. And so as soon as you add a product or a service to your portfolio of things that you offer, there are certain things that you have to do in order to prepare to sell that product or service. And one of those key things is creating processes, creating sales processes, creating service processes, and creating operational processes. So the operational processes, and I've already talked about that in a different video, the basic processes and systems that you want to set up when you are a startup, I'll go ahead and link to that video right here because that's really important. So every single time when you launch your business, you got to create those. When you launch a new product or a service, you have to create those. And I learned that because I've actually been doing speaking for years, but I just started getting paid for it and adding it to my streams of income maybe a handful of years ago, maybe a few years ago, because up until that point, I really didn't know how to ask for money for something that I had been doing for free my whole life. It almost felt unnatural. So the best way for me to do that, and that I've always practiced in my businesses because I learned this so many businesses ago, is it's so easy when you have a sales process in place because it's easy for you to send people right into that sales process and let that sales process carry them through the fact that you have to be paid for that service. So I wasn't charging for speaking for a long time. And if I went back and calculated the amount of money and revenue that I missed because I didn't set up the basic foundation and structure of that product and service and that process, I would probably tell you that I would be very easily, because the number of speaking engagements that I've done that have been unpaid, very easily in a multiple six-figure recoup if I went back and charged people what I charge now for a keynote or for a panel discussion or for a webinar. And the process makes it so much easier. I had this conversation with a student of mine the other day, and we were talking about the fact that she consistently has been approached by people to help them, and they pick her brain, and she is a coach, she is a consultant. And so that means that she's giving away her services for free. And when we really dug deep as to why she felt compelled to do that, whether it was a mind block or a situation or whatever it is surrounding money, or value or worth, because we all deal with that as entrepreneurs, whether or not we should be charging sometimes is tied to whether or not we believe that we are really good at it and an expert and deserve to get paid for it. Well, I'm here to tell you, you deserve to get paid for everything that you do that is a skill set of yours and that you offer that you provide. And so the pivotal point for her, and that I coached her through from my own experiences and lessons, and that now I am coaching you through, is this. Once you create the basic foundation of what your sales, service, and operational processes will be around every single new product or service that you launch, it will be impossible for you to not successfully sell it. Right? If you've been doing the right marketing, if you've been doing the right putting yourself out there, if you've been doing the right marketing strategies, face-to-face marketing, online digital marketing, social media marketing, if you've been doing that and growing your audience, then it will be impossible for you not to sell it. And the transition for me, and just as I was talking to my student, the transition for her will be when someone approaches you and they come to you about a service or a product that you know you offer, and they are kind of looking for you to help them with it. They're not going to necessarily say how much you're going to charge me. So you would lose an opportunity to actually drive revenue into your business. What they will do is bring it up, and you have the responsibility as the CEO to lead them into your sales process. You have to say, no problem. I'd love to schedule a time to talk with you more. Here is this. And once you do that, once they go to that page, or once you send them that link, or once you whatever, then it will naturally take them through your sales process. And that is why it is so important that before you launch a business or a product or a service, to create the necessary processes, because you will lose money if you don't. And that's one of the key things that I teach in my Startup Academy. Is a big piece of launching a business or a product or service is the sales, service, and operational processes. And there's an entire module in the Academy on how to do that, because I got a phone call with someone requesting to see if I was available for a speaking engagement. We didn't talk about price. They didn't say automatically how much do you charge for that. And because I serve with this organization, I might donate, I might do it pro bono, but ultimately I get to choose. And so it's easy for me to keep it organized, to make sure that it's a part of my process, that my team can assist me, because during the conversation on the phone, had I said, yes, email me or shoot me a text, I said, shoot me an email message and I will send you back a link to complete the speaker's request form. That is in my sales process, in my SOP for my speaking engagements. That's the first step. And what triggers that step is somebody requesting it, going to the website, me meeting them, someone asking if I'm available. Those are all different triggers for that sales process. But as soon as I hear those triggers, I naturally am able to very easily send them my speaker's request link. And once they receive that, they'll complete a speaker's request form. It'll automatically come to me and my administrative assistant. It will automatically hit a response to them where they can click a link to schedule a time for us to have a conversation about the specifics and the details around the engagement, what they want me to do, what their goals are. Once we have that conversation, I can quote them a price right there on the phone. And then it gets finalized and booked, and automatically in the process, once we have that conversation, everything gets finalized and booked. They receive my speaker's agreement. They submit the down payment and the deposit. I am now on the books. We finalize everything. And then my final payment is due 2 weeks prior to. So that sales process, me taking the time, just the simple time to create that sales process, has taken me from very little revenue, probably 10 or 15% as an income stream from speaking, to 40, 50%, because I actually get paid for all of my speaking engagements now. And if I choose to do it pro bono, because a nonprofit organization asked me, or an organization I believe in, or a cause I believe in, then I still get the tax deduction for that donation, for whatever that price would be. And so my business is benefiting simply because I took the time to create that sales process. So I got that call. I said, shoot me an email, with the request, because I like to keep all of my tasks and things to do in my emails. So she's going to send me the email. I'm going to go right in. I'm going to copy and paste. I have kind of a template with an email response for people who do the speaker's request. I'll copy and paste that, plop it back, hit send. She'll receive it. She'll complete the request form. And now she's in my sales process, and it makes it very easy and organized for me to sell that service. So I wanted to make sure I had a conversation with you guys about that, because it just came up, but it's a perfect example of why creating that process is so important. And in my student's case, I told her, once you create that sales process, she's in the Startup Academy, you create that sales process. When someone says they want to pick your brain, all you got to do is say, let me send you a link so we can schedule a strategy session. And from that, the rest of your selling takes place. And that is a CP impact tip. Create your processes, get them down pat. Don't just guess on how you're going to do it, because when it doesn't exist, you don't have a place to send people so that you can actually make some money. But once you have it, you'll make money on every single thing that you do once you take that time. So let's go ahead and book this speaking engagement, y'all. Okay, so let me show you guys really quickly what I am talking about. So I'm getting ready to hit reply to her email message, which I did receive. And ultimately, what I was able to do is I have in my process this email copy for speakers request that automatically goes to all of my people who request it. And my team also has this. So intimately, all I do is kind of copy and paste this information. And once I copy and paste it, I just literally copy it. I add it to my response with all the links and everywhere. I'll give it a quick read, make sure it's good to go. I will attach my speaker's request, my speaker's kit, and off it goes. And all of a sudden, the conversation surrounding the topic, what I'm supposed to be talking about, what I should be doing, the pricing, everything will be decided and concluded, and it will just appear in my calendar. Yes.